Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Sorry about the Mickey Mouse airplane. My little guy is pushing buttons in here. Pushing buttons. So I thought it would be fun to do a what's for dinner video or weekly dinner video, something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it yet. You guys get the point though. So tonight we are having well, I'll just show you. I'll turn you around. I'll show you. So back here we just have some macaroni and cheese boiling. Right here we have some white rice and some mixed vegetables. With the white rice, I did some beef bouillon cubes to add some flavor. So those are ready to go. And then in here we have some steak. I couldn't honestly tell you exactly what kind it was. They just had it on clearance. They actually had a bunch on clearance at Walmart. And I just bought a bunch of them. So it's whatever my husband picked out of the refrigerator. I didn't see it, but it doesn't really matter. The point is it's steak. We added mushrooms, or my husband did. He also put in some steak sauce. It's supposed to be like A1, but it's Dollar General brand. And then there's also some seasonings here. So he did some roasted garlic and herb. That's from Dollar Tree. Some minced onion, some garlic salt, and some French fry seasoning. That'll be interesting. My husband made the steaks, so, but I mean, they taste amazing. I've tried it. They taste delicious. He's really good at making steak. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix the steak and the mushrooms and all the sauce in here, which is why I didn't add a lot of spices to my rice, because we got all of this like liquid in here that I want the rice to soak up. And then we've got some Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits going in the oven. So I will show you what everything looks like once they're done. Also, these are delicious. They are Mentos Blue Raspberry. Amazing. Okay, so here's a quick look at dinner. We've got our little stir fry going on, if that's what you want to call it. Our Cheddar Bay biscuits and our macaroni and cheese. Okay, folks, this morning I have a breakfast recipe for you guys. I was just watching Emmy in Japan. Is it Emmy in Japan or Emmy Made in Japan? I think it's Made in Japan. I love watching her channel. I will definitely have a link to her video down below. But she just did a whole video on Korean street food egg bread. And it looks like something my kids might eat. They're both very picky. I have a hard time getting them to eat anything animal-based or even vegetables. And this is an egg bread. And I think they might eat this. So I thought we'd give it a try this morning. I will leave a link to her video down below for the full recipe. I have my flour, my sugar, some salt, some baking powder, one crazy dog. Oh, that's also baking powder. A little bit of vanilla extract. You're almost making like a pancake batter. It's supposed to be very sweet. I've got one egg in here along with half a cup of milk. And then I've also got some cheese to top it with. So over to here, I have muffin tins. Now in Emmy's video, she uses a loaf pan, like a mini loaf pan that she bought online. She's got a whole link for it. But I'm wondering if I can't just make it here in a muffin pan, because they looked about the same size. Her bread loaves might have been a little bigger, but otherwise they looked about the same size. And they kind of reminded me of egg cups, except for with bread in them. Because you know, most egg cups, I mean, any egg cups, they don't have bread. But they're done in a muffin pan. So we're gonna see if we can't kind of recreate the same thing. So I've got my oven heating to 400 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and mix up my batter here. Oh, and there's also butter in here as well. I forgot to mention. Okay, so now we're just gonna scoop this out into my pie pan. Oh my gosh. My muffin pan. Okay, and then each little muffin gets an egg. Now I think ideally I would be able to split the egg between, because I think this might be a little overpowering. Like I said, mine are gonna be smaller than hers. But we're gonna see. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see. Oh, we are overflowing. Yes, it's what I love. So I'm just scooping out a tablespoon of batter roughly. And hopefully that fixes my problem. No guarantees though. That guy's already where he's gonna be. There we go, that's a little better. So she takes some scissors and kind of lightly scrambles the eggs. So we'll see how this works out. So to the top of each of my egg breads, I'm going to sprinkle some cheese. She also does one where you can do sugar, and you can also do another with bacon on top, which I think bacon would be delicious, but my kids won't eat bacon. So they also won't eat eggs, and I'm hoping I can just kind of sneak this in there and they don't even realize, but we will see. But as you can see right through here along the edge, this muffin pan is not working. Maybe if you have like a jumbo muffin pan, you'd be able to do this, but I'm looking at a giant mess on my hands. So I'm gonna bake my muffins inside of a cookie sheet so that if I have any drippage, it's not all on the bottom of my oven. So my oven's at 400 degrees and we're gonna cook it for 15 minutes and pray this works out. Okay, so I've got my muffins out of the oven. They smell delicious. They look really good. The cheese is ooey and gooey all over the place. I did end up cooking mine for 20 minutes, which in Emmy's video, she said to cook them anywhere between 15 and 18 minutes. So I guess going a little bit over wasn't a big deal because they look amazing. So I'm not sure how easy they are going to be to get out of here. And I do want to say, and I didn't mention it earlier, that in the more traditional Korean egg breads, is that when they would use the cheese, or at least according to Emmy's video, they use an American cheese, like one of them Kraft singles. I'm out, so I used the Colby shreds. But if you want to keep things a little more authentic, then put a slice of, or half a slice or a third of a slice of the Kraft American cheese on top. So let's see if we can get this out of here. Oh, look at that. I mean, it does look really good. Honestly, just looking at them with all the cheese and the coloring, they kind of make me think of the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. That's, of course, without tasting it. I'm sure the Cheddar Bay biscuits don't have nearly as much egg in them. Okay, folks, these have cooled down enough to eat, so let's cut one open and give it a try. Like I said earlier, they smell amazing. They're still a bit warm, but not like they were. Okay, so these cooked fully on the inside, so you can see the egg there in the middle. I know in Emmy's video, some of hers were a little bit runny, so I wasn't sure how mine were gonna cook up because we had so much egg compared to the bread. But honestly, doing them in the muffin pan seems to have otherwise turned out okay. Like I mentioned, I wasn't quite sure what we were gonna get because we didn't have nearly as much batter as you typically should. But I think if you only have a muffin pan like I do, like a traditional sized one, I think you'll be okay. If you have a jumbo muffin pan, go with that. Because this was only supposed to make 3 mini loaves, but we actually got 6 average sized muffins. So let's give this a bite. That was a lot sweeter than I thought it was gonna be. That is good, oh my gosh. This tastes like having pancakes and eggs all mixed together. If you guys have had like a McGriddle, think that, but without the maple syrup and without like the sausage and bacon. Unless you put bacon in yours, right? Like it's pancake with cheese and egg, and it's really good. I hope my kids will eat this. This is delicious. So as far as the Korean egg bread goes, I told my oldest boy it is a pancake muffin to try to get him to eat it because it tastes a lot like pancake. He's refusing. You can see he's just like nowhere to be found over there. Pretty sure he's like laying under the table. And this one has tried it and throws it for the dog. So my kids just don't know good taste. I think they're amazing. I think they're worth trying. And, you know, maybe you can get your kids to try them. But apparently I can't get mine to eat them. But I think they're amazing. Okay, so tonight I'm going to do up some sweet potato fries, and I'm also going to do up some honey and mustard pretzel chicken. So we're going to go ahead and start off by preheating your oven back here to 400 degrees. Move my laptop off the hot oven. So the recipe for the chicken I did find from somebody else, so I will leave her channel linked down below for the exact recipe, but I'll still show you guys how I'm going to make it here today. So for the sweet potato fries, I've just chopped them up into like decent sized wedges. This was harder to cut than I thought it was going to be. They are a little labor intensive to do it from a whole potato. It cost me about $3 to buy 3 large sweet potatoes versus spending like $2.79 on a bag of pre-cut sweet potatoes, which is a tiny bag, and I felt like it was like halfway full. So, you know, I definitely got more bang for my buck doing it this way. However, more labor intensive. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. Use whatever kind of oil you prefer. And then I'm going to toss in some crushed rosemary. A few pinches of salt. Don't you love that pink salt? It's so cute. It literally tastes exactly like any other salt. It tastes the same, but it's pretty. And then I'm going to add in some black pepper. I'm going to give this all a good toss and decide if I need any extra oil or spices. And I'm going to lay it all out on a cooking sheet. Okay, that seems to be pretty well coated. Okay, so we're just going to have this laid out as flat as possible here on our cookie sheet. I do have 2 sweet potatoes chopped. So, and we are a family of 4, so this should be more than enough for us. My kids are little, and I don't know how much they will eat of this. It depends if they really like it or not. My husband and I enjoy sweet potato fries. I don't know if my kids have had them yet or not, so. Well, my oldest might have. Can't remember. So just try to give them as even of a layering as possible. And we are going to try and toss these a couple times throughout the baking process. The nice thing about this meal is that everything cooks at 400 degrees. So 400 degree oven, we're going to pop in our sweet potatoes. Get these going first because they're going to take longer to cook. And I do choose to put my sweet potato fries on the bottom rack. That way they're closest to the heat. Okay, so for our homemade honey mustard, I used some apple cider vinegar, some canola oil, but I think you can use whatever kind of oil you like, a pinch of salt and pepper, and then about 4 tablespoons of honey. And then I also used half a cup of stone ground mustard. So the original recipe called for all grain mustard. I did not have that. I had this stone ground mustard, which I don't know about you guys, but we love those little like meat and cheese gift boxes or whatever you want to call it that you get during the holidays. They always come with mustards, and so this was just a good use for ours because we don't really, it's a bit of a strong mustard to have on crackers. So, but it definitely needed a little extra sweetness, a little extra honey. So to here, we're going to pour about half of our mixture out, reserve the other half for later. So I'm going to get out some chicken breast. You can also use chicken thighs. And I've also got about 1.5 cups of crushed pretzels. I don't know about you guys, but I love buying these pretzel packages from Sam's Club. They also have cheese puffs, and they go on clearance right after Halloween. So we have like a ton of pretzels left. So it's just like a great way to get rid of some of these pretzels. Cheese puffs, though, are already gone. So we're going to take our chicken breasts and we're going to roll them around in our honey mustard mixture. And then we're going to roll them around in our pretzels. And make sure they are well coated. Okay, my chicken breasts are humongous. They came from Sam's Club. So I'm choosing to only do 2, but you can of course make however many you need for your family. If you're doing like legit chicken tenders, you're gonna get a lot more out of this, probably 6 to 8 chicken tenders. These are like full-on chicken breasts and they're massive. So that's what we're gonna do with that. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper on the top. Just because it seems wrong not to. And then I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit of rosemary, just because I like rosemary. Speaking of, you can smell it rolling off the sweet potatoes. So let's give our sweet potatoes a quick toss in the oven. Pop these in on the top shelf. Again, at 400 degrees. We're going to set the timer for 20 minutes. And by the time this goes off, hopefully we'll have our chicken and sweet potatoes ready at the same time. I went ahead and put mine in for 25 minutes just because I think my oven will take a little bit longer. But I'll check in with you guys when we're ready to plate. Okay, so our dinner is finished. It tastes amazing. Hopefully our kids will like it. I've got a little bit of maple syrup here to dip these sweet potatoes in. And on top of the chicken, we've got the rest of our little honey mustard mix. So we're just gonna pour that right on top. I am skipping that for my kids because I don't think they'll quite like it. It is a bit strong, but it blended in beautifully with the pretzels that we ground up. So there we have it. Dinner for tonight. So dinner tonight was pretty easy. We have a special select Gouda cheese. You can find those at Aldi. And then we've got sweet potato fries done up exactly like they were last night. And we have chicken breast that was marinated overnight in an Italian dressing. This is the dressing that I used. So it marinated overnight. I don't really have exact measurements on this. I just put them in Ziploc bags and then make sure the chicken's well coated when laid flat on top and bottom. Like they're completely coated in the dressing. And then as it cooked, like every 15 minutes, well 10 to 15 minutes, I would baste it with some more dressing. And it cooked for about 40 minutes total. So yeah, pretty easy dinner. So for tonight's dinner, we're going to be doing up this odd mashup between a casserole and a pot pie. This recipe is all about using up some things I just happen to have sitting around on hand. So for you guys, it's probably going to be chicken based. Mine's going to be a mixture of turkey and chicken. But let's go ahead and go over the veggies first. So I've got 4 potatoes chopped here. They're, you know, yay big or so. Handful of celery that I had in my freezer. Probably somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 cup of roughly chopped baby carrots, and then 1 bag of frozen corn. And so to this, I'm going to go through and add some spices. Of course, use whatever you like, but I've got a roasted garlic and herb. You can find this at your Dollar Tree. Minced onion, some crushed rosemary, again from Dollar Tree. I'm going to finish up my garlic pepper seasoning, and I think that'll round me out. Oh, and I've also got some parsley set out. But then I've also got some just basic garlic salt if I need it. This one is from Dollar Tree and I love it. It is a garlic pepper seasoning, but it's also has salt. So it's like your pepper, your salt, and your garlic all in one. But we'll finish that off, see if we need any more of this. And I'll probably add in some more black pepper. My seasonings are now mixed in. So I'm going to add in 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. And this is the 10-ounce cans. You could also use cream of mushroom, cream of broccoli, cream of whatever floats your boat. So to this, I've also added my turkey roughly chopped. This was our leftover turkey from Thanksgiving. It's been sitting in my freezer. I figure it's a good time to get it out and get it used up. I ended up having way more than I expected to have, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this just yet. But we're going to move this over to the pan I'm going to use and give it all a really good mix. So the pan I'm using is a fairly large one. It's a large deep skillet that I can bake with. So use whatever size pan you're going to need for this dish. Of course, do it to scale for what you need. The great thing about this is that we're going to have leftovers. It's going to feed us for a couple of days, which is the kind of dish I like. Just keep popping it back in the oven, heating it back up, dinner's ready, and I don't got to do any more legwork. The other nice thing about this is it's all about using up what you have on hand. Don't have potatoes? Use some rice. You know, don't have turkey, use chicken. You want to add peas? Go for it. Use what you like, use what you have on hand. This is, you know, one of those everything but the kitchen sink kind of meals where it just gets things used up. Speaking of, we've got some little fancy jars of mustard sitting around that we probably won't eat anytime soon. We've got that one, and this one's another stone ground mustard. So I think I'm just going to add this into here for a little extra flavor. Oh, and what I was getting at with the turkey having so much, I mentioned I was going to add in the chicken breast that I have left over, but I'm going to save that for a salad tomorrow because I've got way too much turkey. This is probably 2 cups of turkey if I had to guess. I'd say aim for at least 1 cup of meat, whatever you're choosing to put in here. Once I moved everything over into my large skillet, I realized I was able to add in the last 2 potatoes and the rest of my turkey. So I've just got it all in the pot, and I did a nice layer on top of just the rest of my spices. Just to give some extra flavor. So now this is the part that's going to make it either a casserole or kind of like a pot pie, kind of like some kind of a weird hybrid. I don't know. We've got some leftover stuffing mix from Thanksgiving in the cupboard. So you can either mix this in with everything, put it in, just give it all a good mix, or you can layer it right on top, which is what I'm going to do. If you mix it in, it's going to be a casserole. Put it on top, it's a pot pie. And I forgot to mention, before we get that far, I'm going to go ahead and add about half a cup of water, just all over. And that's so that while this is cooking, it won't dry out, because we're going to be putting the stuffing mix on top, which is going to absorb quite a bit of the liquid out of this dish is going to get absorbed. So I'm just going to do that, give this all a quick toss, and then I'm going to layer it with my stuffing. So I've got my stuffing mix, 1 container of it, mixed all over the top, and then I went ahead and added some little pats of butter. I just used the tub kind that I have in the fridge, so I just spooned out little pats. But the box calls for a 1/4 stick of butter. So if you got sticks of butter, take 1/4 of it, do pats, put them on top, however you want to do it. The bread's going to absorb the butter, give it a nice buttery flavor, and then it's going to help golden and crisp up the top of the bread. So this is going to go into our oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. And that's what it looks like once it comes out of the oven. It's all nice and toasted brown on top. I'm going to go ahead and scoop some out and give you guys a look at the inside. Oh, such a nice crispy crunch. My oldest boy got a new Hot Wheels semi-truck that you can put Hot Wheels inside the semi, but it's so hard to open. And he keeps getting super angry about that semi truck, trying to get it open and closed. So for all the what you're hearing. So that's what it looks like once you pull the food out. Super yummy and delicious. My husband's in there with the crier, I promise. They're not alone. We have Hot Wheel issues going on. But there is dinner. It looks delicious.